All right, guys, I was at UFC 319. I got a little bit different perspective. I want to bring you my top 10 moments, starting at number 10, Carlos Prates smoking. Okay, it's interesting, guys. I don't love this for kids. I mean, let me just tell you, when I was a kid, Michael Jordan came out and he was smoking and they put it on the cover of Sports Illustrated and it hurt. I remember telling my mom, and I remember it really changed things. It was extremely disappointing as an aspiring athlete, not to mention just a young man, to see an achieved athlete doing the very thing openly and comfortably that we were told you cannot do to succeed. Now, let's set that aside because it is marketing gold. There was a boxer called Mayorga that started this. I put on a grappling event. It's Al Iaquinta versus Mike Perry. Mike lights up a cigarette at the weigh-ins, blows smoke in his face, and somebody cuts this off. This goes around 1 hour before bell time, and it changed the night of business completely. That one thing of Mike Perry blowing cigarette smoke in Al's face, all the numbers started coming. I've seen all these. I mean, it was just one of these incredible things. Carlos Prates has the it factor. And is smoking it? Well, it's part of it. Number 9, Chimaev gets a belt. A black belt. Yeah, guys, if you missed this, and I'm not sure when this was done because I missed it. Generally, this happens right there in the cage. And it happens not because of the good work of the athlete. It happens because the coach wants that moment, and that's fine. I'm just sharing with you. Generally, when somebody gets their belt on the night of a fight, it's in the cage. I didn't see it. Now, so I'm worried that you guys didn't see this. Why I'm bringing it to you, but I interviewed Chimaev afterwards. And when I interviewed him, he was wearing the black belt, not his world title belt. He left the world title on the side. The coach actually had it on his shoulder. Chimaev instead was more proud. The hard work, he wanted to show a respect to his coach, to his team, to the ones that helped to get him here. That's tremendous character. Believe it or not, and I hope you can see the symbolism. That is tremendous character to choose to wear his black belt over the world title. Number 8, 1,000,000,000 to 1 odds. Now, this came at the post-fight press conference. John Morgan gets in a conversation with Dana, and he's just trying to revisit the idea of Jon Jones fighting at the White House. And Dana said, I can't trust him. And the reporter, and I might have that wrong, that it was John Morton. John Morton was involved in this, but I think this might have been a different person having the conversation, says, well, Dana, I don't trust him, but you speak to him more often. Because Dana had asked the reporter, do you trust him? Based on what he did with nothing in between, do you now trust? You didn't trust him a few weeks ago. Do you trust him now? He told you he was retired, and now he told you he's unretired. Like, there is nothing about what he says that he doesn't go back on. This is the conversation. The guy says to Dana, well, no, but you talk to him more often. I'm just wondering, have you built some trust? Dana said, I don't talk to him at all. What would we have to talk about? And he put it at 1,000,000,000 to 1 to fight on the White House card. Something that you guys need to understand. Everyone on the roster wants to fight on the White House card. That's a literal statement. Everyone. People are coming out of retirement, Conor McGregor, Jon Jones, to try to fight on the card. You cannot take somebody, as a matter of fact, you are obligated to only take people who have done good deeds for the company, which means for you. For the organization, gets in there and compete. If you took somebody that has done the exact opposite, never cared about the company, never looked out for the company, and you gave them an opportunity, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, you would kill morale. And that is what makes this statement so true, and that is what makes this statement 2,000,000,000 to 1. Number 7, new punch, total record. Chimaev, 547, Dricus, 49. I think if you look a little further at that, you would be more amazed. Because of those 49 that Dricus landed, 42 of them came in the 5th round. In the 5th round, that means it was one punch on average for Dricus to Chimaev per round. And you guys might remember this, you might have forgotten, but I'll remind you. The first time Chimaev fought, he got hit 1 time. He then fought 8 days later, and in that fight, he got hit 2 times. Going into his 3rd fight against Daryl Merchards, it was part of the marketing. They said, man, this guy not only had 2 fights and 2 finishes over 8 days, this guy in 2 fights has only been hit 3 times. I mean, that was like mind-blowing. One guy got him once and one guy got him twice. That was an amazing thing. Well, those guys weren't the world champion. Those guys aren't future Hall of Famers. Those guys are not Dricus du Plessis. So it really does make it an incredible thing. And whatever your position in a fight, you can hit the guy. The guy's behind you and you can't even see him. Throw an elbow back, it'll hit him. Throw a bonk over the head. You're going to hit him. You could be on your back in a crucifix and hit. I mean, there's no, but you could have a rear naked choke put on you and you're hitting. I mean, I'm just sharing, like, there's never not an opportunity. There was 25 minutes of opportunity. In 25 minutes of opportunity, roughly every 30 seconds on average, a punch was thrown. And don't forget, Dricus never missed. I think that might be the most important thing that you need to listen to. Dricus never missed. Every punch he threw landed. He never saw any opportunities. He went for 49 punches. He got 49 strikes. There's 2 kicks and 1 knee in there. All 49, no air balls. Not quite enough activity. Can we agree? Number 6, spinning attacks. Ariel had done a piece on this, and I just loved it. And it said, look, we've seen 2 spinning attacks. Right? I got to say attacks because one got called a fist, but one was clearly an elbow. I think they both went down in a category of elbow, but I believe one was a fist, right? And that distinction is this side of the elbow all the way to the fingers is called a fist, even if it's the forearm. This bend of the elbow all the way to the armpit gets called an elbow. So I bring that to your attention because when Ariel had made this piece, Ariel said we got 2 of these in a row and we got them back to back. But one of the reasons that was such a moment to celebrate, why it made Ariel's list and why I mention it now, is Ariel went even further and said in the history of the UFC, there's only been 5. Now, if I gave the wrong number and he said there's been 7, give me some grace on this. My point, without being a literalist, and I believe the number was 5, but without being a literalist, my point is how rare it is, and we got 2 of them in one night. Number 5, the greatest wrestler in UFC history. Now, when I say greatest wrestler in UFC history, I am very specific to talk about the greatest wrestling. And I've got to word it that way. Because Chimaev did not have a diversity within his attacks. He went for 14 takedowns, scored 11 of them. All the same takedown, done with the same setup and the exact same finish. Now, Mike Tyson made it very well known he was going to come with an uppercut and a hook. He told everybody, he let any training footage get in, he let everybody study him. He would tell you in the pre-fight interview, and then he would go out and do it. Everybody thinks it's a big secret what they're going to do. The greats know the difference, which is I'll let you, like Babe Ruth, I'll show you, I'll tell you where I'm going to put the ball, and then I'll put it there. So I don't grade Chimaev down for only having one technique, but I think it is important to say the effectiveness. The takedown is just the in-between. Getting a guy from his feet to the mat, that's the wrestling. And for 14 attacks to a score level of 11 of them on the consensus world champion is very impressive. As far as wrestler, I got to see a few more positions. Number 4, Volk versus Lerone Murphy. Guys, we didn't see this coming. And it was very unfair what we were getting ready as an industry. I'm part of it too. It was very unfair what we were getting ready to do as an industry to Lerone Murphy. We all understood if Aaron Pico comes in on his debut and makes a splash this big, he could draw right into a world title fight with Volkanovski. Volkanovski even addressed it and said yes. Got to be the proper fight with a proper interview, but if that's done, if you look at the history of guys coming over, I'll use Michael Chandler as an example. I'll use Justin Gaethje as an example. Now, Gaethje with one victory drew into a coaching role in The Ultimate Fighter, the greatest marketing tool our industry has ever seen. Michael Chandler with one victory drew into a world title fight opposite Charles Oliveira. So if we're to look at guys, not to mention, if Pitbull would have got over on Yair Rodriguez, he probably would have been shown this same respect. So when we understood that this could happen for Aaron Pico, never, not once, did I at least hear that it was a true number 1 contenders match in that Lerone Murphy, with the proper performance and proper interview, could draw into Volk. But that looks like that just what happened. We were wrong to not dangle that incentive and speak about Lerone the same way we were talking about Pico. We were wrong to do that, but I do feel that we're correcting it. And Volk helped us. And Volk said that's the fight. That's the guy that he wants. I co-sign that statement. Number 3, MVP versus Carlos Pradas at UFC Rio. Now, do you guys know where this is coming from? Pradas gets done. And Pradas says, Dana, I want to fight in Brazil. Let me go to Brazil and give me a $50,000 bonus. I don't know what the mechanics of this were, but Dana said yes to both of them, and Rogan is the one that informed. So try to picture this if you missed it. Dana's outside the ring. Pradas turns to him. We can't see Dana. It's not a 2-shot. It's just Pradas, but we know who he's talking to. Says, please let me fight in Brazil, and please give me a $50,000 bonus. Joe Rogan comes in on the mic. Joe's got an earpiece. And Joe says, Dana said yes to both. You will be put on the Rio card, and you are getting the $50,000. So I was always just wondering, how did they communicate that? Did Dana just give a thumbs up? Did he give a thumbs up times 2? Like, what, how did he do this? Does he have a walkie-talkie that feeds into Joe's earpiece? I just found that interesting. I loved it a lot because you're not going to get in this life anything you don't ask for. Do you want to know the greatest thing? The greatest way to get something, guys, do you know? Is to ask for it. Pradas asked for 2 things. He got them both. Now, it's very relevant that you understand Pradas is now on that card, which is a set date and a pretty quick turnaround time. So now he needs an opponent. MVP goes in the back. MVP is a 185-pounder who, by the way, is on a streak. He just took out the former number 1 contender. MVP is a player up here. He's faster than all these guys. He's willing to give that back and take the sacrifice to cut to 170 on short notice to meet Pradas in Rio. That is awesome. Number 2, Chimaev's cardio. Guys, let's not rewrite history. This was just 5 days ago. The narrative going around is that Chimaev cannot hold up. He's not in the 5-round club, which means he's never gone 5 rounds. He's never been booked for a 5-round contest. And we've seen him fatigue twice, once against Kamaru Usman and once against Gilbert Burns. Now, I did push back on that. I told you, Eagles, not so fast. For a guy to be exhausted after a fight is appropriate. That means he took whatever energy he has and he used it. The guy that can go cut an interview and is giving high fives and smiling to everybody can't then argue, well, I did my best. No, you didn't. If you did your best, you will be completely exhausted. That was the deal in exchange for my time and money as a fan. So I don't know that I ever agreed that Chimaev had cardio issues. I think Chimaev knew where his energy was, knew where to use it, and made sure to empty the tank before he left. That's what I thought that I had seen. Now, Chimaev also heard your criticisms. He specifically went and worked on his conditioning. Did that at the training lab. Coach Sam Calavita worked very hard. Is in the 5-round club. Dominated all 5 rounds, including the 5th. So questioning Chimaev's cardio right now is a little difficult. But Sanger Sus Urkov, 2 fights in 5 days. And by the way, the way the story is being told is that it was 4 days. Because I believe they counted the day that he weighed in. I believe. But the official record is that he had 2 fights in 4 days. That's the official story. Now, I happen to meet this young man. Let me tell you my story real fast. I watched the Contender Series. I like it. I saw Suskarov win. All right, hold that thought. I'm the first one to the locker room Saturday night. I'm the first one because my athlete, Joseph Morales, is the first fight of the night. So I'm in the locker room. And we're there about an hour. And then the next crew comes in. The UFC brings them in waves. I believe there's a total of 4 different waves, 4 different start times. At any rate, Suskarov is the 2nd wave. Now, I've never met him. And where he walks in and stands, he's shoulder to shoulder with me. Well, I knew one of his cornermen. So I tell him hi, and I tell him, man, you look great. I grabbed, he's got these big boy, reached up and grabbed his arm. I said, man, you look great. And Suskarov, who has never introduced himself to me, right? He just walked in. It's his first fight. He debuted on TV 4 days prior. There's no chance for us to know each other. That's my point. We do not know each other at all. Not in passing, not in any way. His first words to, okay, so I tell his corner man, you look great. Suskarov's English is not the best. So he says to me, what? You don't like my hair? He goes, what about me? And points to his hair. So whatever he thinks that I said to the corner man, a compliment about his hair, he totally misunderstood, but that is what it made it so funny. So I take my hand and I rub it through his hair a few times. He says, yeah, you got a good looking haircut, young man. That's how we met each other. But when you meet a guy like that, now you feel like you know him. I mean, you want to talk about an icebreaker. I'm rubbing my hand through this kid's hair, right? I mean, I'm just saying it was one of these interesting things. So to watch Suskarov go out there and to do so well, I thought that his opponent looked awesome, by the way. But for Suskarov to do so well, I think you guys are learning a lesson, which is the disadvantage to breaks. Many of you are pushing back on the fact that Charles Oliveira is going to get in there so quickly after being knocked out. Guys, 3 months? What are you talking about so quickly? An hour later is pretty quick. The next day seems pretty reasonable. 3 days later, you're still within striking distance to make weight and you're in perfect shape. You get 2 fights for 1 camp. And I think that you guys are starting to see that because every time, and there's only been 4, but every time we've had somebody turn around this quickly, they've won.